Well, they're probably wishing for a lot of pools of blood, but you'll have to wait till the end to see if that happens. But as usual, let's start off with the IMDb plot. It is a quick one. A chef with gambling problems flees to a Latin America villa where he assumes another man's identity. Alright, so a couple of quick things at the top. It was sent a screener to this one, but we can still keep this a fair review. And it was shown at Fright Fest, so it is a fairly new film. I'm not sure what the distribution is coming, but it probably comes soon now that it's been shown. So I'll try to keep this as spoiler free as possible. I might get a touch into it, but I'll try not to go too far, just so I have something to talk about and something to tell you guys. So with that, this one is probably more of a thriller than a horror movie. I guess there's a horror theme to it, but much of the movie is probably more a thriller-like film, and that's also what it says here on IMDb, so I would agree with that. So yeah, you're going to have a chef here who is struggling on his own, has some issues that he's kind of trying to escape and hide from, and he goes to this villa, really nice house, and meets up with a friend, and who happens also to be a chef. And much of the beginning part of the movie is them kind of getting briefly reunited, and kind of stating where each other is at this time of their lives and so forth. And along the way, they meet a woman, bring her back to the house, and do a cook-off for her, see who's the better chef. And he wins, not really winning anything because the other guy apparently gets the woman, or at least that's what they portray it as. So we get a lot of this going on here at the beginning, and then you're wondering, what role she's going to play in it, and what exactly is happening here with these two chefs. And before you get too far into it, the other chef is, let's just say, going to disappear. I won't tell you exactly what's going to happen there, but he's no longer going to be around. So we're left with our main chef here, who still has this gambling problem, and he has a friend here who's disappeared, and he has choices to make. And as opposed to maybe calling the authorities and blah blah blah, he basically tries to take his identity, and mostly because the other guy has some money and he has money issues. So in doing so, he kind of stumbles onto what the other guy was doing and why the other guy kind of disappeared. I'll just say that. And he's then, as he takes this other identity, he is forced to do a dinner and cook for some really rich people, really special people, and so forth. And you think that that's all good, but there's a lot going on behind that. It's not as simple as it seems. And as he kind of dives into it, he realizes that this is definitely more than he cooked up for, and doesn't really want to do it, but really has no choice. And as you're the audience, and even him himself, you're going to pretty much see why that other chef kind of disappeared. And but now there's someone to take his place. So as we kind of move towards this big dinner, there's going to be several times where he wants to escape. He doesn't want to do it, but he's going to find that is not so easy, and he's basically stuck in what he's doing here. And I'm not going to get too much more into it. Like I said, the film is definitely more thriller. You got a little bit of suspense, a little build up to this meal and what is happening here. I'm not going to get too much into that. You guys will just have to see what's going on with this mill yourself. Horror fans, you might, have a thought, or as they kind of present this and come towards it, that you might kind of get. I mean, they're going to tell you, but you might guess beforehand what is really happening here. But yeah, it's kind of, leading up to this dinner. There's a little dramatic, some suspense. There's going to be some unexpected visitors that come to dinner that make it kind of a little bit more tense. And, as one of the guests say, kind of make it even a funner game, if you want to call it. And so you're going to have a lot of that going on here. So, I enjoyed it. You as you're watching, you're just kind of wondering, where they're going with this. And, is he going to get out of it? Is he not? I think just basically what kind of wraps this film up nicely for me is the title. It's like what you wish for. And, I don't know that he necessarily wished for it, but I guess, he, by doing what he did at the time when he kind of, his chef friend, as I said, disappears, when he made his choice and he did what he did, he got what he wished for. He you almost, are wanting to feel sorry for him or whatever, but then every time you kind of come back to the title, you're like, no, like he had choices to make and he kind of went down this road. And, why feel sorry for him? This is what he gets. And, and then kind of circling back, you're going to see why, the other chef was, I guess, at the end of his rope and decided, to whatever happened with him and his disappearance, what happened to him. So, when you think of the title and then when it comes to an end, it kind of wraps up nicely. So, again, not heavy on the horror here, if that's what you're looking for. There is at least, one pretty decent scene, I would say, towards the end of the film. I don't want to give that away, but it was probably the closest you're going to get to the true horror besides what is really happening here. But yeah, I think there was enough here to keep you engaged, to keep you watching, to keep you into the story. They don't go too far out of bounds. Try to keep it as real as possible. So, and I think they did a really good job, shooting it. The acting is good enough, and it's not going to get away from you anywhere there. So. Again, I enjoyed this one. And sometimes you get titles that are just there, or just to throw in there, like basic, stuff that's just, horror this, or, kind of that in the cabin and blah 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 and this and that. But when you kind of keep the title in mind as you're watching this, I liked the title for this one, and that kind of just wraps it up nicely with the story that went on here. So with that, I'm going to give it 3 pools of blood. It was definitely a good film. So if you're not looking for something super on the horror and maybe something a little bit more of the thriller, it's not big on twist either. Not too much twist and turns. They are going to kind of raise the stakes. As we get to this dinner scene, with a little bit of the tension, suspense, and so forth, and the people that show up that are not necessarily the invited guests. There is invited guests, and then there's some other people that show up that are going to make it a little bit more interesting here at the end. So, so with that, 3 pools of blood. So, maybe they wished for a little bit higher, but, I think that's fair for this film. It's a thriller and so forth. A good story and like I said, good title to kind of wrap up where they begin and end here. So horrorreviews.blogspot.com is where you can find all the reviews, video and written. Much more video lately, But so like, subscribe, and all that if you're just interested in the video ones. If not, no worries. Twitter, Facebook information down below as well, and feel free to reach out to me there. And in the comment section, hopefully you guys will get a chance to see this in the near future. And if you do, feel free to comment on the film down there, or if you want to reach out with something to me there, feel free to do so. So with that, I guess I will catch you on the next review, horror fans.